Fantastic. This is really beautiful, fantastic. What a crowd. What a crowd. Well, I want to thank everybody. You know, we have a big night tomorrow night. Is anybody, like, thinking about it? It's going to be good. We've had so many good things happen over the last 5-month period. It's been actually amazing. The people of this country are absolutely incredible people, and I am honored to be with you tonight. It's like this all over the place. We're going to take our country back, folks. We're going to take it back. We're taking our country back. It's gone on too long, too many mistakes, too many stupid people telling us what we're supposed to be doing. We're going to be taking it back, and we're taking it back soon. We can't put up with it any longer. You see what happens. The Iran deal, incompetent. Anything you look, now I hear Bergdahl. No jail time for Bergdahl. I mean, no jail time. We have a man there who left. He's a traitor. He left. 5 people killed looking for him. And what happens? Like, for years, he's been under the same thing. And I hear there's not going to be jail time. It's incredible. You know, 50 years ago, what would have happened? Boom. 25 years ago, probably the same thing, but it would have taken longer. 10 years ago, jail time. 5 years ago, a couple of years. Now he's going to get nothing. He's going to get nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just thinking of it now for the first time. If I get in, we will review his case, I promise you. And you know what? Statute of limitations, we'll be reviewing Hillary Clinton's case, too. I can tell you. We're going to be real. We will review that. You know, before I go too far, I've made some great friends. And, you know, I announced and I talked about illegal immigration. There was a huge firestorm. Everyone went crazy. Oh, illegal immigration. It wasn't even something that people were going to talk about. And then all of a sudden they started saying, you know, maybe Trump is right. But I went through 2 weeks. It was unbelievable. And, I mean, it was really incredible. I didn't mind it. You know, it's like called life because I'm telling the truth. I don't mind when you're saying something that's correct. And this country needs to get away from political correctness. It's killing us. It's killing us. It is absolutely killing us. And I announced all about, we talked about what's happening at the border. We talked about the illegals pouring in. And all of a sudden, people started seeing lots of crime, and they started really seeing it. It was focused because it was like a magnifying glass. And we had beautiful Kate in San Francisco who was killed and shot 5 times. And then we had so many others. We had the woman a few weeks ago in California, raped, sodomized, 66-year-old veteran, raped, sodomized, and killed by an illegal immigrant. We have much, much crime, so much all over the place. And a friend of mine, I see him backstage with a group from Remembrance families. You know Remembrance, right? These are people whose families have been devastated by people that weren't supposed to be in our country. People that came here, were forced here by countries that are smarter. And I want to just bring, they're friends of mine, and in particular, somebody I've really gotten to know well, and he's a special man. Could the Remembrance families come up? And this is Jamil. Jamil Shaw. Come on up. And get the families up. Come on up. Come on up. I saw him backstage. We were going to say hello, and I said, come on up and say a few words. These are incredible people. What they've gone through is unimaginable. And Jamil, I've known now Jamil for quite a while, and his son was this unbelievable young man. And I'll just ask you to say a few words, Jamil. Tell us exactly what happened, please.
Good evening. March 2008, my son Jazz, we were at a football camp, a clinic in Pasadena. It was designed for Division I prospects. So, you know, we we had a good chance doing some good things. So we were practicing, on our 10th week. On the way home, of course, he asked, can he go to the mall? I'm sure, kids ask that. So, of course, I'd be home by 7. I didn't want to let him go because, L.A. is really unsafe, like Mr. Trump is saying, it's unsafe. But I thought since he was a good kid, he'd be okay. I gave him a chance. Be home by 7. So 7 o'clock came. I called him. He wasn't home. I said, hey, where are you? He said, oh, Dad, we'll be there in a minute. We caught the wrong bus. But we're safe. He thought the same thing. I'm safe. He knew what I was thinking about. And a few minutes later, I said, I'll call you in an hour. I called him back. Where are you now? Hey, right around the corner, old man. So I was like, whoo. I was happy, Whoo, he made it home. And then, of course, I heard 2 gunshots. That's really loud, And I never really heard gunshots before, but it was so crispy. And people who know about guns, when it's really crispy, you can tell it's close by. And I just like, oh, man, I hope this, I just figured he was already shot because I had this feeling. I remember saying, I hope he's not dead. And I went outside and looked, and laying in the street dead. Found out he was on the phone with his girlfriend. His girlfriend said saw this guy walking up on him, and he was, uh-oh, what's going on? She was like, well, run, do something. And it was too late. She heard the guy say, what set you from? And one of the neighbors said, shot him in his stomach. And while he was on the ground, the coroner testified in court that when he was shot in the stomach with a .45, he was on his back with his hands up. He shot him through his hand into his head and killed him. He was dead. And I ran outside, and I looked right down at it. I'm looking at his face. And even today, I still can't believe it. It's just not real. I never bounced back from that. It's if you're a parent, or you could be anybody, I always ask people, what would you do? What would you do if an illegal alien in the 18th Street gang was released from the county jail, and into our neighborhoods? We don't know what's going on. That's why we need Donald Trump, because he wants to, he feels what we feel. I mean, he feels what we feel. He's just like us, I know that now, I saw him on TV. I had no idea, but he wants us to be safe. He wants to make us safe. We all love to be safe. Yeah, Trump. And you have to ask, and you ask these people like that, you ask them, what would you expect of somebody running for president to do if you heard that illegal aliens were murdered Americans? Trump is what we need. He speaks for the dead. He speaks for our families. We love Donald Trump. And if everybody, all we have to do is just go and vote. Don't be scared of people like that. Don't be intimidated at people like that. Nothing is wrong with us. We don't have to like illegal aliens. We don't have to. We're Americans. We want Americans first. Why can't we be first? We should be first. Donald Trump wants us to be first, and we have to stand with him because he's standing for America, and trust in him like I do.
These are amazing people. They're amazing families. What they're going through, you cannot imagine, for no reason whatsoever. Just incompetent people. They allow these people to come into our country. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Okay. So today we had a lot of news, and it was all good. It never gets reported properly by these people back here. Look at all those press. Well, I've learned 2 things more than anything else: how smart the people are and how bad and dishonest the press is, because it is really dishonest. It is really, really dishonest. So we had a lot of polls coming out today, and they were really good. That's right. You're my man. That's right. So we had a Monmouth poll, very highly respected. Trump, 41. Cruz, 14. And everyone else much lower. I mean, somewhere. So I heard today, when they announced the poll, 41 to 14, and I like Cruz, good guy. But I heard, here's how they announced, Cruz surging. So when I heard, this was on television, Cruz surging, so I said, oh, I don't know, that sounds bad to me. Coming up, Cruz surging. Then they say the Monmouth poll was just done, Cruz is surging. Trump 41, Cruz 14. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? I tell you what, they are the most dishonest people. Then, you know about CNN. CNN came out just recently, 36 to 16. Gravis poll, highly respected, 42 to 16 to 12 to 11. So then today, it was very interesting because I did have one poll in Iowa, which I never expect to get. I can't stand the paper. It's a horrible paper. Des Moines Register, it's terrible. You know, of course I would never say they do this, but they have a very small sample. If they take about 10 votes and put them in their pocket, you understand that. So Des Moines Register was 21-31. All of a sudden, it was like the biggest story I've ever seen. Okay? That was just Iowa. Don't worry about it. It was Iowa. We love Iowa, but I think we're doing great in Iowa. And I expect to win Iowa. We think we're going to do great in Iowa. I get by far the biggest crowds. And okay. So then we had a CNN poll. So CNN today was talking about a poll that wasn't theirs. And I kept saying, why don't they talk about a poll that's theirs? So they just did this poll. It's a new poll. CNN in Iowa, Trump 33, Cruz 20, and then everyone else much lower. So we actually sent a couple of emails, started to tweet a little bit. You know, the Twitter's great when you have between 5 and 10 and 13. We have so many people. We have millions. So we started to tweet. We said, why is CNN not playing their poll? It's their poll. So if anybody has an idea, please let me know before the evening ends. Then we had a Fox News poll, which was a pretty good poll. It was pretty much tied. Then we had Quinnipiac. And Quinnipiac was 28, Trump 27, Cruz. In other words, we won. They call it a tie. They say it was tie. Okay. I mean, sort of win. You know the bottom line? I think we're going to win Iowa. I think we're going to win New Hampshire big. I think that, frankly, if we win Iowa, we run the table. I think, frankly, if we win New Hampshire, which we're way, way, way up, and South Carolina's been unbelievable. And by the way, in Nevada, we're winning big, big, big. We're winning in Florida. We're winning everywhere. So I just want to let you know, this is not going to be a waste of anybody's time, believe me. This is going to be something special. Do I hear some noise over there? Yes, I do. Bye-bye. You know, look at all those cameras turned over there. They only turn when there's a protester. They never, no, they are the worst. They only turn when there's a protester. They never, ever turn unless there's a protester. Yeah, get them out of here, please. Please, thank you. Get them out. What is our country coming to? It's unbelievable. No, it's unbelievable. You know the truth, though? I'll be honest. We should have been doing that for the last 7 years. I give them credit. I don't know why we don't. I don't know why we don't. We have a silent majority that's actually a noisy majority, but we should have been doing what they're doing for the last 7 years. Because what's happening to our country is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. So, all right, thank you. Good job. I love you too. I love you. I do love you. That's why I'm doing this. I had such a nice life. I had such an easy life. Now I'm doing this. Give me a break. We're going to make America great again, folks. We're going to make America great. And with me, there's no super PACs. There's no phony money all over the place. I'm funding my campaign. You got to see this. These people, $125 million super PAC, I guarantee you whoever it is, you know who it is, right? But there are many of them. There are many of them. They have all of this money in super PACs. The super PACs totally control the candidate. They totally control the candidate. If they want something, they get something. And if it's not to your benefit, they couldn't care less. They don't care. Believe me. And that's what's sick about the system. And frankly, 6 months ago, I was on the other side. I was like the fair-haired boy. I gave $350,000 to the Republican Governors Association. I was on the other side. I was like establishment. Can you believe it? Now I'm a politician. I hate the term. I'm a politician. I'll never be a politician. I don't want to be a politician. Don't want to be a politician. They had one case where a super PAC, for a nice guy, he's a nice guy, so I'm not going to mention his name, but it was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. A super PAC raised $6 million. By the time everybody took their slice and their cut, they were left with $140,000 for the campaign. Think of it. Now, that's a pretty good business. You guys ought to try it sometime. Pretty good. And you wonder, how come they're losing money? How come they're out of money? Why are they complaining? They're going to leave the campaign. Because you have to see the money that's being made. You have to see the money that's being made by people raising money. It's insane. It's better than being a real estate broker. I want to tell you that, folks. You can do this and you can retire after one campaign. It is a disgrace what's happening with money. It's a disgrace what's happening with influence. And we're going to end it, folks. We're going to end it. We're going to end it. So, when I started the quest, remember the famous escalator ride, right? Coming down. We're waving. But I made a decision. I said, look, you know, it takes guts to run for president. It really does. I never did this stuff before. And it takes guts. But I know what can happen. And by the way, not just because I'm doing well, more importantly, because I've gotten to know so many people. We have such incredible people in this country. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I said to my wife, I said, you know, look at that. It was in Trump Tower in New York. You have never seen, look at all the press back there now, but you have never seen so many reporters and cameras, and you couldn't breathe in the building. And I said, you know what? We got to do it. Just too many mistakes. Let's do it. And I took a deep breath at the top of that escalator. In fact, if you see it, they probably have tapes of maybe they don't want to show that. Too nice. They don't want to show it. They only want to show bad stuff. But you know what? I took a deep breath. I said, let's go. And we went down, and I talked about illegal immigration. And I brought out a lot of things that would have never been discussed. And we're going to have a border. We're going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for the wall. They're going to pay for the wall. Now, a lot of the people that are running against me, they say, oh, well, Mexico will never do that. Why would they do that? Because they're politicians. They have no idea. They don't know business. They don't know business. Look, Mexico, I love Mexico, just so you understand. I love the Mexican people. I have thousands that have worked for me over the years. They're fantastic people. But their leaders, right? Do we love Mexico? We love Mexico. I agree. But their leaders are too smart for our leaders. Because our leaders, not so good, folks, okay? They're too smart, they're too sharp, they're too cunning. What's happening at the border is horrible. What's happening with trade? I mean, we have Ford building plants in Mexico. We have Nabisco moving from Chicago, their big factory, into Mexico. They'll make Oreos. Think of it. No more Oreos for us, right? No more. Somebody served me Oreos the other day. First time in my life. I said, I'm not eating Oreos anymore. But they left Chicago. They left Chicago, and they're going to be moving a big plant into Mexico. Tennessee, a great state. They thought they had it made with this car company. All of a sudden, at the last moment, the car company announced they're going to Mexico. It's out of control. It's out of control. So Mexico is beating us at the border. They're beating us at trade. Now, here's the story. Mexico is we have a trade imbalance. We have an imbalance with Mexico of over $40 billion a year. And that doesn't include drugs. The drugs, you can probably double it. Who the hell knows? That's free of drugs. But the drugs pour across. Now, we have no wall. And when we do have a wall, it's a little toy, like built by Barron Trump, okay? It's a little toy. Did you ever see the picture, pretty famous picture, where they have a wall and they built a ramp on each side of the wall and they drive trucks over loaded up with drugs. They drive it right over the ramp. That's not a Trump wall, folks. This is a big building. See that ceiling? That ceiling is much lower than my wall. Believe me, we have a real wall. We have a real wall. And I know how to build it. And I know how to get them to pay for it. It's very simple. Folks, you're killing us. You're making too much money. Now, the wall's going to cost $9 billion, okay? A lot of money. The Great Wall of China is 13,000 miles long. That was built 2,000 years ago, right? We say we can't build a wall. You know, a lot of the people that are opposed to the wall now wanted to build it 14, 15 years ago. And you know, one of the reasons they couldn't build it is they couldn't get an approved environmental income. Can you imagine this? They couldn't get environmental impact statements approved. They couldn't get them. There was a snake in the way. There was a turtle in the way. There was a toad in the way. There was a snail in the way. No, they couldn't get it. Just like when I said, knock out the oil, right? I've been saying that. Knock out the oil. One of the reasons they didn't want to knock out the oil, take it away from ISIS, take away their money, a big part of it, although they get a lot of money from a lot of other things like banking. We'll talk about that. But one of the reasons they didn't want to knock out the oil, they didn't want to hurt the environment. This is serious. They didn't want the fumes going into the atmosphere. And then we're supposed to win. What do you think General Patton would say? I mean, he was a brutal guy that liked one word. It was called winning. So what do you think General George Patton would have said if the president said, listen, don't hurt anybody, let's nice and easy. We don't want to put any pollutant in the air. Don't forget, he'd say, you're fired. That's very good. Now, can you imagine? Now, we have the General Pattons, and we have General MacArthur. We have great generals, potentially, in our midst. I mean, they go to Annapolis, they go to West Point, they go to Air Force Academy. These are great people. We have great people. But probably the best ones are kept down. We lost a good general 2 years ago because he was foul-mouthed. He spoke with bad language. He was great. The men, you know who I'm talking. We know. He was a good general. Everybody loved him. His men loved him. Everybody loved him. And look what happened to him. Then we lost another one, Petraeus. He got because of emails and because of giving stuff. And yet Hillary did 20 times more, and she's just fine, right? She's just fine. So we're going to find the right people. And I will tell you this. For 5 months, I did nothing but speak about how China is ripping us off, about how Japan is ripping us off with the cars, thousands and thousands of cars pouring in. I was in Los Angeles. I mean, these boats are massive. The ships, they're massive. Cars pouring in. Looks like the Long Island Expressway. The cars just coming off the... We give them practically nothing. I mean, you look at the imbalance. Happens to be about $70 billion, okay, a year. And you say, what's happening? We have all the power. We have all the strength. Mexico, I told you, it's both. I mean, Mexico's going to become the car capital of the world soon, the way they're going. They're taking our business. They're doing everything. And in addition, they kill us at the border. That's going to end. It's all going to end. It's all going to end. Believe me. And I'll tell you something. It's going to end, and they're going to like us better than they like us now. They don't have any respect for us. China, it's going to end. And yet China, look what they're doing. South China Sea, they're building this incredible fortress in the middle of the I mean, can you believe it? We could never do that because it wouldn't pass environmental standards. Can you believe this? We are so lost. We are so lost as a country. Today I read, I mean, maybe it's not true, but I think it's a legitimate publication. I mean, these guys, I don't consider too many of them very good, but it was amazing. Look at that cameras. Those cameras never move. They won't show this crowd of people. But no, it's true. It's true. They never move. Don't worry, they won't move. But did you see when you had that protester over there? Boom, those cameras, they were bent like a pretzel looking, trying to find them. They are the worst. They are the worst. So, thank you. That's very nice. But you're the best also. You know what? We're all the best. Together, we're going to be the best. We're going to be the best. Look. We're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so incredible, we are never going to have to use it. It's going to be brought back up to date. It's in such bad shape. A general left 2 months ago, a very nice guy, Ordiano. He said we're the most unprepared. I actually think he said from the beginning, but let's not, because there's so many cameras on there. He said for many, many decades, we're the most unprepared that he's ever seen us or heard about it. Can you imagine? And this is a time when we have to be the most prepared. So we're going to, number one, we're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so great. We're going to take care of our veterans. Our veterans are being decimated. Decimated. You know, somebody wrote recently, they said, Trump's a really good speaker, but the one problem he has, he speaks right through the applause. And you know why I do that? Because I'm so excited. I mean, I love what we're going to do together. I can't wait. It's true. No, I love what we're going to do together. We have so many great people, so many incredible people, so many smart people. They get it. I mean, how the hell do I get 41 and 42%. Again, this is against 15 people, by the way. This isn't against 2 people. By the way, you know, Gravis at 42, and the big one today, Monmouth, came out at 41. Let me just tell you, if that were against 3 people, I'd be happy, because that would mean I won, pretty much, right? But this is 15 people we have that. A couple have left. A lot are going to start leaving. Which is nice. It would be nice to have some more time to talk. It's so many people. There's so many people, and many of them don't have a chance. You say, what are you doing? Just go home and relax. Go home and relax. So, and by the way, some really good people. I have to tell you, on the stage, you really do. You have some great people. I've gotten friendly with some of them, and they really are outstanding. I won't tell you the names of the ones I think are good, because I want you to not even think about it. But you have some people that are excellent, some really good people. This guy, this guy screams out, low energy, Mr. Trump. They're low energy. No. Well, a couple of them are low energy. By the way, Hillary's low energy, okay? She's low energy. In all fairness. I've said about Hillary, she doesn't have the strength and she doesn't have the stamina to be president. She doesn't. She doesn't. And the last person she wants to run against, you know, the Fox poll had me winning. Nobody talks about that. They, you know, they find one word. The Fox poll has me winning. They never report it. They hardly reported a Fox. But the Fox poll has me beating Hillary pretty easily. But, you know, it's interesting. You ever notice? She'll go out. Everything is so scripted, even her words. Donald Trump has a harsh tone. And I'm saying to myself, then you turn on the news, you see they're cutting people's heads off in Syria because they're Christians. They're doing, and other reasons, and frankly, any other thing they want. They're drowning people in steel cages. And she's saying Donald Trump has a harsh tone. Well, I don't like his temperament. Oh, that's fine. Look, we've got to get smart. We're not going to have a country left. But did you ever notice with Hillary? It's sort of an amazing thing. She puts on a pantsuit in the morning. She gets up. No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. There's nothing. You like my hair? I like that guy. He said, "I love your hair, Trump." It's mine. It's the nicest. Awful tough to get away with phony hair, right? After what but anyway. But you know, so Hillary, she gets up and she goes and does a meeting and she's have like 3 or 4 people. It doesn't do this. First of all, she can't draw crowds like this. She can't draw. She'll get 200 or 300 people. I won't mention names, but a couple of the candidates last night, one had 51 people. They counted it. One had 153. We have what, 4,000 or 5,000 people here. It's like packed. Place is unbelievable. And you know, I have some beautiful stuff in Las Vegas. There's plenty to do here. So when you come out, and we can't even give you seats because there's too many people. Sorry about that, folks. We had seats. We had to get rid of the seats. There's too many. But I think that's okay. You're all strong. But think of Hillary. Wait a minute. Think of this. So because we do need strong. We need stamina. We need really, really strong and smart. We need smart. We can't have, you know, I've known a lot of people over the years. They're really strong, but they're stupid, okay? That's no good. We need strong, but we need smart. But Hillary, so she goes out, does an event, then you don't see like 5, 6 days go by, right? Then she does another scripted event, and she'll take questions from like 3 people. We would like to ask you, how do you like, don't you like your family? Yes, I do. I love my family very much. You know, every question is scripted, where she sits around a little table, and they vet all the people that go in with her. It's ridiculous, okay? It's ridiculous. And then she'll get up and she'll read a teleprompter, always a teleprompter. She'll read a teleprompter, and she'll go, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'd like to do it. It would be so much easier for me." I mean, can you imagine how easy that would be? I have 2 pieces of glass. I read for a half hour. Instead, I speak for an hour and a half with no notes, no nothing. The good thing about doing it this way, first of all, you need a great memory, which, you know, I do have. But the good thing about doing it, we can talk about current events. We can talk about, for instance, we can talk about stuff that happened 14 minutes ago. If you have a speechwriter, they want to, you know, first of all, they charge these people a fortune. They write Jeb Bush's speeches. They write all the speeches. Very inspiring speechwriters. No, they write them. Boy, that was a killer. Wasn't it that expensive? But think of it. If something happens, they're like, they can't talk about it because they have to get their speechwriter to write it, put it in the teleprompter, or put it in a speech in front of them so they can read it. So today, I just read a story, the migration. We don't want to have anybody come. We got enough problems in this country, right? We got enough. And I've been saying we don't want, you know what? I have a big heart. I want to take care. I want to help. But we got to get the Gulf states. They have so much money. You know, Saudi Arabia was making, think of it, $1 billion a day. These are $1 billion a day. Now, the oil prices are down, so let's cut it in half, okay? But so much money. The Gulf states make so much money. We need to do a safe zone in Syria. And how Merkel could have done what she's done to Germany, which is incredible. You look at what's going on in Germany, it's a mess with the crimes and the problem and everything else. We should have had a safe zone in Syria. Let thousands and thousands and thousands, and you do the tents and you do the food and you let them, and basically they'd rather stay there, in my opinion, and go back when this whole mess straightens out. Let them go back where they want to be. It's their country. But I've been saying, I've been talking about the Trojan horse. And I've been saying, well, I watch these lines, these massive lines of people, and there's so many young, strong men. You ever notice? I said, where are the women? Where are the children? You see them, they're all men. It looks like an army. And first thing he says, why aren't they back there fighting for their country? No, it's true. But then you say, where are all the women? Where are all the children? Now, I have to be honest with you. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but I'm looking at these lines, and there's a lot of people that look very young, very strong, and they happen to be all male. And then today, a report came out. Did anybody see the cell phone report? Where they have cell phone with the ISIS flags on them, thousands of them. Let me change that, hundreds, because they'll say, oh, when I said thousands of people are dancing on the street, and then I found reports all over the place, they said, oh, well, but he did say that. Who knows how many, a lot of people. But they found a lot, believe me. And did I win my point on that one, by the way? Okay? Believe me, I won my point on that. So many stories, and then all of a sudden, well, but they weren't there, they weren't here, they were all over. Let me tell you, people, they were dancing in the streets, and that's disgusting. And on rooftops, and elsewhere all over the world, they were dancing. So now the migration comes, right? Now the migration comes. And they find cell phones on many, many, many people. They find cell phones, and on the cell phone, I don't get it. Actually, I just want to say, I staged that. I actually put that person, because that was the only way I was going to get the cameras turned to see how many people are there. They turned so fast. So they found many, all over the papers just now. Just happened. Many with the flag, with beheadings, with horrible pictures on them. First of all, I say, isn't that terrible? Then I say, how come people in a huge migration line, how come they have cell phones? What's going on? Think of it. Why do they have cell phones? I mean, you wouldn't think the cell phone would be exactly number one on priority. They have so many cell phones. Anyway, here's the story, folks. We're not going to take them into our country, and if we do take them in, they're going back if I win. They're going back. They're going back. They have to. They have to. We are a country that soon will owe $21 trillion. It's $19 trillion right now. We just signed a totally ridiculous budget that was done in like 24 hours. It's unbelievable. And you know what? The Democrats, we get that. Okay, we understand it. We know where they're coming from. The Republicans have let us down, and you can say what you want. When they sign budgets like that, they were supposed to start right after the last budget and knock the hell out of everything and balance, but nobody does it. And I tell the story. They get in, they fight. We're going to end Obamacare, they say. We're going to do all these different things. We're going to balance the budget. And then they get down to Washington, right? They get down to Washington, and they say, darling, and in some cases it's a woman saying darling the other way, right? But they say, darling, look at the ceilings. Look how beautiful the columns are. Look at the angels at the top. Isn't this incredible? We never want to leave. And then they say, how do you vote? I vote any way you tell me to vote. They totally changed their tune. They totally changed their tune. And I promise you this. I swear to you this. President Trump will never change his tune. Nobody has been. We'll never change our tune. So, I love you too, man. That was a very tough, strong-looking guy that said that, but I still love you. Thank you very much. So when I started, thank you. When I started, we were talking about all these things. We were talking about China. We were talking about, and we will repeal, we will replace Obamacare. It's dying anyway. By the way, folks, it's dying anyway. In 17, it's dead. It's all the wrong people joining, the wrong income. It is a mess like nobody's ever seen. It's dying. We're losing our doctors. You know, the insurance companies make a fortune. They took good care of Obama. They're the big beneficiaries. We're going to get rid of the artificial borders. We're going to have real bidding. We're going to have great insurance. It's going to be less money, and it's going to be good. Your premiums are going up right now, 25, 35, 45, and 55%. Your deductibles are through the roof. You'll never even get to use it unless you're dead. You won't get to use it, and it's a disgrace that it was ever approved in the first place. So when I began, I talked about the veterans. I talked about we're going to build a military. I talked about all these things, and I talked about the border big. And then what happened is Paris. That was a big one. That was horrible. These people are animals. And I tell the press, they were saying the mastermind behind the attack. The mastermind. Did you see the mastermind? I call him the guy with the dirty hat, right? No, the mastermind. They build them up so big, and then they wonder why the internet is taking our youth where they're going out and they're fighting for ISIS. They're fighting for ISIS. They build these people up like they're Robin Hood, and so big. And they use the word, all of them, they use the word mastermind. And every speech I'd say, don't call him a man. And you know what? Now they're not calling him mastermind anymore. It's really true. The press is not doing it, which is great. Which is great. They say he's brilliant. He's brilliant. What? They drop a few people into these various rooms in France and they start shooting everybody. And by the way, the guy that was talking about gun control over there, just so you understand, instead of hundreds, Paris is the toughest. You talk about gun control. Paris has the toughest gun control just about in the entire world. France has the toughest gun control just about in the entire world. If a few of those people that are now dead, if a few of those people had guns strapped to their ankles or strapped to their waist, you wouldn't have the problem. You wouldn't have the problem. Right? No, you wouldn't have the problem. I mean, you would have had, if I were there, I'm licensed to carry. I will tell you this. If I were there, if somebody were there if we had some firepower in the opposite direction, those people would have been gone. But they talked about this guy, and he was a slob. And by the way, let me tell you, the guy is a stupid person. He was a man with a very low IQ, I can guarantee that. And that's what they should say. They should say the fact. What did he do? He put a couple of people in there starting to shoot everybody, a couple of places. So they lost 130 people. Many more are going to die based on the fact that I hear they're so badly wounded, so badly hurt. And so that was a big thing. And then you had in California where you had these two people. She should have never been allowed to come into the country. The system totally broke down. She came in on a visa, fiancé visa. Oh, so romantic. Isn't that wonderful? She's just wonderful, right? She came in on a fiancé visa. Nobody ever even heard of a fiancé visa. Did you ever hear of it? Fiancé. So she was radicalized. He was probably radicalized before, but maybe, who knows? I mean, you know, these people. And tonight I heard, you know what? The bodies are there. And they're having a hard time because they want to send his body or her body back to where they came from. Can you believe it? No, can you believe this? They want to send the body back on an airplane. No, how crazy. And it's a very expensive thing, but they want to send the body back. I won't say where she came from, but believe me, she came from an area you're not going to be totally surprised. Let me tell you, they want to send her body back. Why? Why are we doing this? Who even thinks of this? Who would even think of it? So the two bodies are sitting there because they want to get her body back. That was reported a little while ago, okay? Unbelievable. How stupid are we? How crazy are we? These people that we have as leaders don't know what they're doing. So then we have California, where these two terrible people walk in and, you know, supposedly they were friends with a lot of the people they killed, right? They were friends. They worked together. They walk in and they start shooting. And they killed 14, and others are going to die probably because they're in very bad shape. But they killed a lot of people, and they should have never, ever, ever been in the country. And, folks, we have to get smart. We have to get sharp. And, you know, did you hear about the woman that wouldn't say anything because she didn't want to racially profile? Did you hear that? Or some guy. They didn't want to racially profile. They thought it was a little strange. There are bombs lying all over the floor. They thought a lot of things were going on that were a little unusual, but they didn't want to call the police because they didn't want to racially profile. Now, that to me sounds like a lawyer giving them, because they said, you probably know, they know that you know what was going on. How about this? Say racially profiling, okay? I mean, what's going on with us? What's going on? And you have thousands of people out there that are looking to do the same damage. We have to get smart. We have to get tough. We have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant. We have no choice. And, you know, every once in a while you have like a protester start screaming. And I say to myself, I wonder if I took that person, it's a person, and sat down for a half hour. We're all looking for the same thing. Whether you're Democrat, liberal, conservative, Republican, aren't we all? Well, we want safe, but we all sort of want just overall what's good for the country. We want to get rid of our debt. We don't want to have China rip us off, which they are doing big league. I mean, look, I love China. China, they pay me millions and tens of millions of dollars for apartments. Who's nicer than China? I have the largest bank in the world as a tenant in one of my buildings. I mean, I get along great with China, but they're too smart for our leaders. They devalued their currency, the biggest devaluation they've had in 20 years, 2 decades. Think of it, 2 decades. They never thought they were going to be able to do it, but because we have so many other problems, they went and devalued their currency. They're killing us. They're killing us. They're all killing us. Japan has done a great devaluation, and that's one of the reasons. My friend, I tell this story all the time. My friend, he's an excavator. He excavates. He's a great excavator. He always buys Caterpillar tractors. Look at their stock. It's tanked. And I could have told you that 6 months ago because he told me the story. He went and bought Komatsu, made in Japan, because they so cut their currency, they so devalued their currency, that he went and bought Komatsu tractors. And I see him. And I could see he was unhappy. First time in his life that he bought outside of Caterpillar. But he said, look, I owe it to my company. I owe it to my wife and family. I owe it to myself. He said, you couldn't compete with the deal. I said, which is better? He said, they're both good. Caterpillar's better, but they're both good equipment. But he said, I owed it to my family. I owe it to my company. He's right. I said, you're right. You have to do what you have to do. But he was sad. But you look at what's happening, and it's happening all over. Now we have a case. I don't know if you know what corporate inversion is. Carl Icahn is supporting me. He's a great businessman. He's going crazy about corporate inversion, where companies that used to leave for Florida from New York, or they used to move to Nevada from someplace because taxes were better or something was better, but they'd move. Okay, that's fine. At least they're moving in the country. Now they're moving from New York and here and all these places outside of the United States. And we have 2.5, well, think of it. Yeah, but look, they have $2.5 trillion at a minimum that they can't get their money back. Every single politician I know on both sides want to let them bring their money back. They can't make a deal. You know why? Because it's gridlock in Washington. Here's a case where everybody agrees it's a good thing for all that money to come pouring back into the country. So these companies are leaving to get their money, and they're leaving for other reasons too, including taxes. Under my plan, by the way, we take care of the middle class big league. We cut it way down. We simplify, we cut, and I'll tell you what, we're going to take care of the companies and the corporations and the small businesses. We're in there. Right now, we're the highest taxed nation in the world, okay, highest tax. As soon as my plan goes into effect, we're at the lower end of it. We're not quite the lowest, but we're very close to it. And the plan has gotten great credit. It's simplification, it's major reduction for middle class, and major reduction for businesses, all businesses, but including small businesses, because our company was built with small business. And you're going to see some great things happen. And you're going to see it happen with so many different ways. As an example, Common Core. What a disaster Common Core is for education. Think of this, same thing. Think of this. We have, in terms of students, we have the highest per pupil. We spend more money by far than anybody else. And yet we're ranked 28 in the world. We have third world countries that are better than us in terms of education. So we spend much more than anybody else. We're number one, but by a lot. And yet we have. And then you'll have a Jeb Bush and these other people saying we love Common Core. They want your children in Nevada to be educated by some bureaucrat in Washington. Who understands this? Who understands it? Who understands it? So we're going to take care of the Second Amendment, number one, and we're going to take care of Common Core. That's going to be gonzo. That's going to be gonzo. So we have a situation in this country where, yes, oh, they're friendly people. I don't mind. They don't make the same impact as the unfriendly ones. I love you too. Thank you, darling. So I was talking about all of these things for 5 months. And then after Paris and after California, I now talk about Muslim extremists, radical extremists. Something's happening, but you have the radical Islamic extremists. They're pouring in. They're coming in. We have a lot of them here. We have to be careful. And by the way, I have so many great relationships with Muslim people. They know there's a problem. They want the problem solved. It's hurting them. It's hurting them more than it's hurting anybody. They want it. But you have a president that won't even issue a term. He won't talk about, when you say radical Islamist terrorist, he won't even say it. He won't even use the term. And nobody really understands why. And Hillary Clinton won't use it. If you have Hillary Clinton, you got 4 more years of this stuff. You're never going to solve the problem. You're never going to solve the problem. And we will get it solved. And we'll work with everybody and we'll get it solved because people want it solved that you wouldn't believe. Everybody wants it to be solved, except for the bad ones. And the bad ones, we're going to get them. We're going to get them. We're going to take care of it. We're going to get them. So what happened is when the polls came out, they said, who's best on security? Trump. Who's best on the border? Trump. No, it's amazing. They go, who's best on the economy? Trump by a mile. But because I've been so strong on the border, and because I'm saying people are not coming in, unless they come in legally. We want them to come in, but they have to come in legally. So I think as an overthrow, because to a certain extent it's a similar problem, as an overthrow, people said the border, it's Trump by a lot. I don't mean like by a little, I mean by many times. And what happens is, thank you. Where is that man? I like that guy. Thank you, man. Thank you. But because of the border and the fact that, hey, look, if we don't have a border, we don't have a country. We don't have it. We don't have a country. So all of a sudden, these polls are coming out that who's the best for terrorism, Trump. Who's the best? The only thing I don't do as well on is a lot of people don't like me as much as they like other. Who cares? You know what? I think I'm a nice person. Honestly, I think I'm a nice person. I think if they got to know me, they'd like me. But it... Thank you. Thank you. You know, a really nice woman at one of the rallies, because everywhere I go, we have crowds like this. We have massive crowds. I mean, we go to Iowa. We have the biggest crowds, but not like by a little bit, but by thousands bigger than other people. We have far bigger than anybody else, and that includes Bernie Sanders and Hillary. I don't know why. She's beating him in the polls, but he gets much bigger crowds. But we have bigger crowds by far than anybody. But you know, I meet at one of the rallies, I meet this wonderful woman, and she said to me, Mr. Trump, I'm voting for you. I love you. You're so good. But do you think you're nice enough to be a president? And I said to her, and I meant this, I said, first of all, I really think I'm a nice person. I love helping people. That's why I'm doing this. I want to do something good. But I said, but I'll be honest with you. This time, I don't think niceness is going to matter. They want competence. They want smarts. They want toughness. They want somebody that's not going to make a deal where we give Iran $150 billion. Thank you. Thank you. People are tired of it. I'll be honest. People are tired of it. We're fed up. We're fed up. We're really fed up. And you know, it's the story. You hear the song we play, and are we going to just continue to take it? We're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to. And I think what's going to happen, and it was reported on one of the big newspapers, that if Donald Trump gets the nomination and runs against Hillary Clinton, it will be the biggest election of all time in this country. And I think that's true. I think that's true. Which is a good thing, because a lot of people don't vote. Hey, look, I backed McCain. He let us down. But honestly, that was a tough thing, because the economy was cratering, and the guy said I was. But we backed McCain, and it didn't work out. We backed Mitt Romney. He should have won. He lost. I don't know what happened to him. That final month, he got lost. Something happened. So I backed McCain, didn't win. I backed Romney, didn't win. I said, this time I'm doing it myself, okay? Doing it myself. But it was reported, it will be the biggest, it'll be huge. It'll be, this guy, he goes, it'll be huge. It's true. But it will be huge. But it will be the largest, in terms of voter turnout, will be the largest election that we've ever had in the country. I believe that. And they said in this article, which was about a week ago, they said that Trump will get most of that additional vote. The people that are coming out, many of them haven't voted before. Some of them aren't in parties. Some of them didn't care to vote. But we have brought out a spirit that's unbelievable. That's why somebody else last night will have a crowd of 150, and we have all these thousands of people. I mean, a lot of people are going to go. And a lot of people, frankly, had a lot of the people that should have voted last time, voted for Mitt Romney. He would have won the election. They stayed home. For some reason, he didn't inspire them, and that's okay. I mean, it just didn't work out. He tried. It didn't work out. But they weren't inspired to go out and vote. We got to go out and vote. And by the way, when you have your primary, please do me a favor. It's going to be like in 7, 8 weeks. Go out and vote, please, okay? Go out and vote. You know, when we did the debates, right, so we had the first debate on Fox. And, you know, normally not a lot of people watch it. In fact, a lot of times, historically, television networks don't even want to put them on. They're forced to put them on for licensing reasons. Put them on. Nobody watches. People don't like why. 24 million people, the largest in cable history. Then they do CNN a little while later. Now, think of this. In the history of CNN, there are 23 million people. In the history of CNN, it's the largest audience they've ever had. Think of that. Honestly, I mean, we have to be honest. We don't have to be politically correct, right? Right? Is it okay? It's not going to be bragging. Every Hollywood magazine reported it this way, so it has to be true. But we're not going to be politically. It was totally because of me. It's true. It's true. It's true. And the other candidates should be thankful, because I'm giving them a chance to make total fools of themselves in front of millions of people. But no, honestly, I'm doing a good job for the Republican Party. People are able to get their votes out. And people may like this one or that one or that one, and that's okay with me. But so they had 24 million, 23 million. I'll be honest, I think tomorrow night, I think it's going to be big. And they're all coming after me. I heard today, I'm saying, man, this is like crazy. Who's going to attack Trump first? Will it be this one? You know, he's taken down 7 so far. You know, if you look, so far, everyone that's attacked me has gone right down the tube, so that's a good. That's good thing. No, but they're all saying, and who's going to, my son is here, Eric Trump. Where's Eric? Where's Eric? And this is Eric. He's a great boy. Say something, Eric. Just say hello.
I am so proud of this man. Look at this crowd. And you know what? We've had a lot of rallies. We've had a lot of amazing rallies. And I looked at him in the eyes a couple weeks ago and I go, you know what? You're going to win this thing. And he is going to win. And we are going to win. And we are going to make this country great. So, proud of you. Love it.
Good boy. So we're watching television before we're hearing all these announcers saying, well, who's going to take on Trump tonight? Who's going to hit him hardest? And I'm saying to myself, yeah, I would say bring him on. Who cares? What difference does it make? But I would say it won't be this will not be like an evening in paradise for me. Do we agree? Look, you have a lot of smart guys. They have their views. We have our view. And I think for the most part, think of it. It's common sense. I mean, really. There's so little common sense that our country has and our leaders has, and even the candidates, they don't have any common sense. Now, a lot of them are because they've gotten so much money from so many people. They're controlled like puppets. I mean, they're controlled like puppets, folks. Believe me, they're controlled like puppets. I'm not controlled by anybody. I'm not controlled by anybody. I'm actually controlled by you. I'm controlled. No. I built a great business, an amazing business, some of the great assets of the world. I have a beautiful building right down the road. I have some of the great, and by the way, they all said, he's not going to run. And I ran. Then they said, well, he'll never file Form A. That's basically a little form where you sign your life away. I signed Form A. Then they said, well, he'll never sign financials and he'll never put them in. And if he does, he'll wait a year. He'll wait because you have a lot of extensions you're entitled to automatically. I said to my accountants, thank you. You know, when these four guys started jumping up and down, I said, wow, they look like rough protesters, but they were on my side. I want those guys on my side. So anyway, thanks, fellas. So what happens is I filed, and the press, it was like, and then I filed. I didn't ask for extensions. By the way, some of these people, I had almost 100 pages of filings. And some of the people, the politicians, had 1 page, and they were asking for extensions. Can you believe it? But I wanted to get it in, so I got it in early. And then they went and they checked. They said, wow. Because they figured I'd never run because maybe I'm not as rich as people said. Well, it turned out much richer, much stronger, very little debt, tremendous cash flow. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. I'm saying because that's the kind of thinking we now need in the White House. It's what we need. We're going down the tubes. So I ran. I'm really happy I ran. I think that amazing things are going to happen. You know, we have a lot of expressions in this country. We talk about the American dream, and I say, and it's sad, the American dream is dead, but we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Bigger and better and stronger. Remember, bigger and better and stronger. And we are going to make America great again. And I love you all. I love you all. Thank you. I love you all. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.